We actually have a game coming up. Michigan football is about to host. Who are they hosting? New Mexico? I almost said Fresno State. But regardless, we're going to get into it with our quarterback, Jack Tuttle, on this episode of Locked On Wolverines.
You are Locked On Wolverines, your daily podcast on the Michigan Wolverines, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Thursday. We are back and doing it. Locked On Wolverines podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. I'm your man on the ground, Isaiah Hole, publisher of Wolverines Wire through USA Today Sports Media Group. Thank you for making us your first listen. We do appreciate it. And thank you to all of our everydayers out there who check out the show every single day. We've got the quarterback over there to my side. That's Jack Tuttle. We are in the pocket, not in the huddle, in the pocket. Right? We're actually playing the game here, right? So you're in the pocket. It's not just in between plays. We're in the play. Jack, welcome back. You're a busy man right now. You're going all over the place. Oh, no, you're frozen. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Back now, yeah. Working with not a great connection here in Minnesota, but I can hear you now.
You're like I was saying, you're in Minnesota. You're all over the place. How's that been for you? That as you're getting your feet wet in the actual media of it all.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. I think it's definitely been a grind this week. You there?
I am. Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, you just talk. We're dealing with so many technical difficulties this week, folks. The platform we had been, I'm going to put them on blast, riverside.fm, terrible. So we ditched that as we started to get ready, and we're trying out a new platform. So you're just going to have to deal with us trying to figure some things out here while he's in a hotel. I'm trying to figure out some back end stuff. Anyway, Jack, go ahead. Never mind. We're just not gonna do it today. And he's gone. And he's back.
Yeah, we're back now. But yeah, it's been a grind this week. We have 3 games in 1 week. We had Fresno State at Kansas. Now we got Buffalo at Minnesota, and then we're going South Dakota at Iowa State on Saturday. So it's been great to learn and grow and also break down some games and help the crew.
I know one thing's going to be really hard for you, and that's going to be not being at the big house after, you've become accustomed to it. It's you've been accustomed to the face of Michigan football, but you're not going to be there because you are going to be covering that game on Saturday. But first, I want your reaction to Bryce Underwood being named the starter, because as of, was it last week, you were completely unsure. You didn't know if they were going to invite you back to have another go, see if you could go left-handed or something like that. But now we know that he is the starter. So while you're frozen on the screen, so hopefully you're okay. There, you're unfrozen. We've had some platitudes about Bryce, but what would you expect him to face? It's against a team that's kind of widely unknown. It's first ever college game. What are you looking for out of the freshman quarterback as he goes into his first career start?
Yeah, so the first thing I would say is, after breaking down the opponent, they do a pretty thorough job at Michigan of breaking down the opponent, what defenses he might see, what pressures in certain situations, first, second, and third down. So they will have a plan for him to give him an easy out in every situation they think that may happen. The good thing about this New Mexico defense, the defensive coordinator is coming from Memphis and was originally at Ohio. So we're going to have good film on him, and we did go back in time when I was there, but now that I'm not, I know Coach Moore is pretty thorough about that. He's going to go back in time however many years and find every single defense that they might possibly face. And when I was breaking down those games, it was nice because the coverages weren't exotic. They weren't 3 safety like some Oklahoma stuff we might see. So I think this is going to be a nice first game to kind of ease Bryce into it and ease some other guys into it as well that are playing younger. That's what I'm kind of looking forward to. I think they're going to give him some easy throws, some nice free access throws. And I also think they're going to start with the run game would be my first guess. They need to bleed the O-line and kind of get them going for Oklahoma. And when I mean bleed, I mean get them ready to go and prime them up for that game. That's what we call it in football.
See, those are the types of things that you would otherwise be like, bleed the O-line. What is 18th century doctor situation here? Like a lobotomy? It's so exciting to recognize, like, yeah, he's going to be able to go out there and do something. But, like, there's obviously expectations that are high for him. I think that it's funny because I think if people were to listen to you and I talk off air, or like me talk to me talking to Connor, or some of these people who have actually seen Bryce behind the scenes, that they would be like, all right, so where's the national championship, and should we go ahead and book our tickets? But freshmen are going to make mistakes, right? Like, can you recall just going back to kind of your freshman year back? I think you were wearing leather helmets back then, but
That's exactly right.
What are those things that would qualify, even with all of his talent, as a kind of unique mistake a freshman might make, that maybe when you get along further into your career, you look back and you say, as a quarterback, kind of crazy that that's the type of thing that I was doing in year one. Can you recall something like that?
We're in and out. You're back and forth. You said, what are some unique mistakes you might make? Yeah.
See, I keep pausing for anyone watching or listening, because we're just going to go with this ridiculous version of the show here today. It's because I thought maybe it was you started talking, but it just was, it's recording remotely, supposedly, on your end. Supposedly. Mm-hmm. I did 30 seconds of research as we ditched Riverside. So anyway. What kind of mistakes would you expect a freshman to make that they wouldn't make further down the line?
Considering that, with Bryce, this could be his first game in front of 100-something-thousand people. I think the mistakes that are going to happen would be more mental. Oh gosh, here we go.
Nope, you're still going. I can hear you.
Yeah, would be more mentally driven. And he might be a little nervous, maybe not. I think most people would be nervous in that situation, stepping on the field at 19 years old, 18 years old, and playing in front of that many people. So there could be some of that for sure. Also, I think there could just be some play clock stuff. He might get a delay a game here and there. I don't expect that would happen very much with Coach Lindsey in his helmet. I also think there may be a miscommunication in the huddle, or maybe an MA here or there. But to be honest, this is the worst probably possible scenario things that I don't envision happening, but could possibly happen with a freshman. I think he's locked in. I think he's ready to go. And I think the coaches are going to have him nice and seasoned and ready to go to play for the game.
All right. Well, let's move on to, and I say that having not heard half of it.
This is an interesting way. I'm like trying to gauge. You're kind of paused half the time.
Yeah, exactly. But we're gonna move on. I want to talk about some other interesting things that came out this week, but we are going to do that here in just a moment. But before we do, hey, Locked On Wolverines fans, are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code FOOTBALL and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You could make up to $300 a year just from buying gas that you were already going to get. At first, I thought it was too good to be true, but it's totally legit. Real people have been getting paid, and they make their daily commutes. And as they make their daily commutes, and you can too, plus you can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or even an e-gift card for Amazon or other brands. So don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time promo code football for a limited time 25-cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code football. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. All right, we're going to continue on here in just a moment. But before we do, and now we're waiting on this here. Okay, there we go. When the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with SupplyHouse. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. Need parts fast for a project? SupplyHouse has next-day delivery. Talk about game changer. The part finder tools and 3D schematics can save you hours on jobs where every detail matters. Their Trademaster perks like priority shipping and dedicated support make the whole process smoother. Join the free Trademaster program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use the promo code SHCollege5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. All right, Jack, since we've been having all these technical issues, which may or may not be seen by the people, right? Because supposedly it's recording everything remotely, even though we can't hear each other. I kind of have a feeling like when I go to edit all of this, you're going to be fine and I'm going to be fine. And people are going to be like, why do they keep complaining about all this? Number one. Number two, I feel like you probably got to hear the entirety of my ad read without any issue. I'm guessing, given that when we're trying to talk football problems, talk ads, I feel like it probably just went through fine.
Yeah, that's our luck right now.
Yeah. So we'll see. See, when it says if there's internet issues, it's like, okay, I actually upgraded to fiber. Like, so it's kind of absurd that we're having any issues with any of these things at all. So regardless, Channing Goodwin got named starting Z receiver by Sharon Moore this week over Fred Moore. Number one, were you surprised to hear this? Especially because I know you were really high on Fred Moore. But what kind of receiver is Channing Goodwin? Do you think this is a good thing, or are you skeptical of the move? What are your thoughts?
Coming out of camp, I would say I'm a little surprised with the move, but it's not a bad move at all. Both players are super reliable. Both are super talented. I think Channing Goodwin has made so much progress in his game and what he's been able to do. He's a beast when the ball comes up and goes for a contested catch. He's extremely smart. He doesn't miss any assignments, whether it's blocking, play assignments, doesn't get anything wrong. He's all reliable. You can always count on him for that. And I think he's going to go out there and make plays. I think Fred Moore is also going to play, even though he's 2 on the Z depth chart. As of now, they're both going to play and continue fighting for that spot throughout the season. You know, Fred is a deep threat, in my opinion. He's fast, he's smart, and he's going to stretch the field for this offense. And I don't think that he cannot play. So I think they're both going to be in the rotation. And obviously, you have Samaj and Anthony Simpson, and then you have Donovan McCauley at X. So he's going to be super good for this offense and be that contested catch, red zone fade guy that we haven't had in the past years. So since Nico, I believe, Nico or DPJ. So I'm super excited about that, and we'll see how it goes this first game for him.
Now, what is this is kind of the last episode that we get to kind of do the, what based off of being in the building versus us being able to react to actual games. I'm particularly skeptical of the offense outside of, Bryce and the running backs, I feel really good about. I feel good about the idea that they're going to be able to run the football. But defensively, for instance, I'm completely confident that they're going to be able to do what they say they're going to be able to do. Maybe it's because there's just a much longer track record of that happening. Do you have the kind of a similar skepticism, or do you feel like people just don't know? People are going to see, because that's kind of what we're getting coming out of some of these press conferences is like people saying like, y'all are going to see. You're going to see that this offense is going to be really good. I mean, defensively, they're saying that too. But what's your level of confidence versus your level of skepticism that a lot of these offensive issues that happened last year are going to be fixed going into this year?
Well, I think it's going to be different just because the whole offense is different in general. I don't think there's really any carryover from last year's with the coaches, the players. There might be a couple guys coming back on the O-line and Samaj, a couple other guys coming back. But, I mean, Channing's also stepped up. He's didn't play at all last year. So, like, he is a new face on this offense as well. You got two running backs, Jordan Marshall barely played last year, so I still consider him a new face for this offense. So I think we will see, or you will see, is very true, because it's not even close to being the same offense. There are a ton of different weapons, and I think it is upgraded in a way. So it can't be any worse than last year. So I'm super excited for game one, and I would agree with that.
It's funny you say it can't be anywhere, but yet I see like some think pieces out there from national people being like, weirdly actually being like, oh, but they lost their coordinator and their quarterback, and it's like acting like those are bad things, right at the moment, like going to Bryce Underwood and having Chip Lindsey, are those bad things? I'm not exactly feeling that. All right, so hopefully everything you said came through. I don't know if it did or not, but because this is the adventure we're on. Up next, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, and we're going to find out what you think is going to happen in this game against New Mexico, and we're going to do that here in just a moment. But before we do, college football is back. Couldn't be more excited. I mean, it's back tonight. Jack knows more than anybody because he's working over there. The tailgates, the rivalries, the energy in the stands, there's nothing like it. But let's be real. Actually getting tickets can feel more like a battle than the game itself. Endless queues, hidden fees, and prices that jump up at can't talk either. Prices that jump up at checkout. That's why I use Gametime. The app gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees. What you see is what you pay. Listen, you can go and you can look and you can see what you can get for Michigan, New Mexico, and I guarantee it's going to be a heck of a lot better than a lot of the others out there. The app is super simple. You can even see the exact view from your seat before buying. And guess what? There's zone deals, which means that you can pick the section and Gametime picks the seats. You save big. It's faster, it's cheaper, and less stressful than any other way that you can buy tickets. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today. All right, Jack. Hopefully this all comes through as we have the biggest, maybe the biggest debacle of a show that we've ever had in Locked On Wolverines history. Maybe it doesn't matter if everything works technically as it's supposed to. I have no idea, especially because I'm looking at the screen right now. Jack is frozen. Nothing. He's just frozen. He's smiling. I'm occasionally frozen. Have no idea if this is working, but nonetheless, if you were to put on your prognosticator hat, what do you think is going to happen on Saturday for Michigan against New Mexico? Don't give me a score, but just generally thinking, having analyzed the matchup, how do you think this game is going to go? for the good, the bad, and anything in between?
Well, I'll tell you how it should go. And I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, is they need to come out. They need to prime up the O-line and get them going. They need to get the run game going. Then they need to start going into RPOs, the play action game, get Bryce some easy touches early, get his confidence up. And then you can start getting into the drop back game, letting him rip the ball around, and then just start building him up brick by brick, brick by brick. And then by the end of the game, you should be up by 30, 40 points. Kind of getting the backup some PT in the game, building up the team's confidence, some nice, easy looks, nothing too exotic, nothing too crazy. You don't need to show Oklahoma your whole playbook, your whole defense or offense. And by the end of the game, the team should be super confident to where they could step into any stadium, play anybody, and beat them. So that's how this game needs to go on Saturday. It shouldn't be overcomplicated. All they have to do is the stuff they do really well, and the simple stuff they do really well, good. And they will be able to win this game and build some players' confidence and really lead them into the next week, which is a big game. So we'll see how it goes.
I'll tell you where I'm a little. This is why I have some skepticism. Now, I there's no part of me that doesn't think that Michigan won't win this game, right? Of course, I think they'll win, and I think they'll win handily. I believe the FanDuel spread is something like 35.5 the last I looked. But there's only been one blowout in the Sharon Moore era to this point, and it was against Northwestern last year. It wasn't blowout games against Fresno State. Now, Fresno State was about as tough of a group of 5 team as you were going to find. It ended 30-10, but it took all game to get there. Arkansas State was basically a blowout at halftime before it became a little bit of a nail biter by that game's end. 27-17, I think the score was. So not that I'm skeptical, but I want to see that like old school Michigan season opener. The other team doesn't stand a chance. It's just a complete romp. And I want to see it for the second time in the Sharon Moore era, because the Bowling Green game didn't go that way in 2023. They didn't even blow out Penn State or Ohio State when you were on the team. Just simply won. I mean, that's unacceptable. You want blowouts. But nonetheless, I think I just want to see them go out and do what you expect Michigan to do in a season opener. And I think that they will. But the offense, man, I just want to see it. Last thoughts here. What would be, I'm trying to think of how to phrase this based off of kind of what you said earlier. What would be some of the things that like you would expect maybe could go wrong in a first game that just would be kind of the general things, even with a good team? Like what are some of those things that can kind of happen even with a good team in a game like this?
Yeah, I think there's always some operational stuff when it comes to first games for every team. So it's play clock. It's making sure no one jumps off sides when the quarterback starts the cadence. It's not holding, it's penalties, stuff like that. Playing a clean game is really the number one thing, like when you just start out the season. So the team that's going to win is going to be the team that plays in a clean game. Sorry, I'm like back and forth. I can't tell if it's frozen or not.
Yeah, I'm just, like I said before, I'm just sitting here. We'll cut between the frozen. If things get frozen, we're going to cut between, and none of this show is going to make any sense, but people are just going to have to understand the aberration of this while we figure out travel and technical difficulties and all of that stuff. But
yeah,
many apologies to people, even though it might just be like, they might, like I said earlier, people might be watching and listening to this and being like, I don't know what they're talking about. It works fine because everything worked as it should within the program itself. I don't know if that's the case. We don't. So, all right. Last thing. Do you have a score prediction for me? What do you think is going to be the final score here?
What I'm hoping the score will be, I'm hoping be around 38-6, 42 to 10, somewhere in that range, that ballpark. That's what you hope it would be. You can see some nice, clean offense. You see great defense, which I expect we're going to see. It's Coach Martindale's defense, and those guys have been locked in since the start of spring. So I would expect to see that. But I'd really like to see some points on the board. And if it's around 28-35, I don't think the fan base should panic at all. He's a young quarterback. He's just getting started. This is his first game. And I think this just needs to be a primer for him, but not only him, the O-line, the receivers. It's a very new offense. So I think all the fans just have to buy into it and roll with it and help the team out and give them momentum, nothing else.
All right. I just wanted to look up something here as we close out, because you mentioned something, and I just looked up the score of the 2006 game to open the season against Vanderbilt. Now, granted, that was an SEC team, but just like most any time in history, no one thinks that much of Vanderbilt. And Michigan won that game. Now, this was my junior year, to kind of age myself to some degree. Michigan won 27-7. I was in Las Vegas with my mom for a horse show. For anyone who doesn't know, and I know you don't know, Jack, my mom breeds Andalusian horses. I'm frozen, so you might not be able to hear that or not. Anyway, and I watched a bit of the game in the hotel at South Point in Las Vegas, and I was disheartened, right? Because 27-7, I understand Vanderbilt's an SEC team, but it was like I wanted to see that 42-6, like you mentioned, and I got in the car or in the cab to go back to McCarran Airport, and my mom's bragging on me saying like Isaiah's he goes to Michigan, and the cab driver goes, "Oh, that's a good football team," and I'm like, I don't know, they can only beat Vanderbilt by 20 points. And then Michigan won every game up until, unfortunately, that final one in Columbus and what they called the game of the century. So I would agree with Jack. If they win 27-7, we can't freak out because there are a lot of variables. But I just figured that's a good little anecdote to throw on to everything. All right, Jack. Well, this has been an adventure. Hopefully it's less of one next week. For our sakes, for our listeners and watchers' sakes, all of that. But we did what we could with what time we have. And I think that's the important thing. Anyway, thanks for coming on the show as always. To all of our watchers and listeners, thanks for watching and listening. We've got one more show left before game day. That's happening on Friday. Thank you so much to all of you. Peace.